Ladies and gentlemen, there's a moment in life when everything changes, when you feel like you've reached the end of yourself, and yet something happens that shifts everything. You might have been walking in darkness, feeling lost, unsure of your next step, burdened by guilt, fear, or the weight of your own limitations. But when you encounter the power of God, when His presence invades your life, everything is transformed. You are no longer the same person you were before. The chains that once held you down no longer have a grip. The weight that once pressed on your soul is lifted. You stand in the presence of the Almighty, and in that moment you are remade. There's something remarkable that happens when God's power touches you. It's not just an external change, but a transformation from the inside out. It's as if the very fibers of your being are rewoven by His grace. The hurt, the pain, the confusion, and the struggles that defined your past life lose their grip on you. God's power doesn't just come to heal your wounds, it comes to make you new. The old is gone, and behold, everything becomes new. It's not just about overcoming a struggle, it's about being raised to a new life with new strength, new perspective, and a new purpose. When you experience the power of God, you experience something that is beyond human comprehension. It is a divine encounter, a supernatural touch that brings life where there was once death, light where there was once darkness. It is in that moment that you realize you don't have to be bound by your past, your mistakes, your fears, or the lies you've believed about yourself. The power of God comes to set you free, free from guilt, free from shame, free from the burden of trying to measure up on your own. It's a power that reaches into the deepest places of your soul and whispers, "You are mine and you are beloved." But transformation doesn't just happen in a moment and then stop. It's a continuous work that God begins in you. Once you encounter His power, once you've tasted and seen that the Lord is good, there's no going back to the life you once knew. You're marked by His presence and you carry His power with you wherever you go. This power doesn't just live in a church service, in a prayer meeting, or in a moment of worship. No, this power is with you every single day. It empowers you to live boldly, to walk in victory, to stand firm against the storms of life. This is not a power that is distant, but one that is near, one that dwells within you. You have access to the power that raised Jesus from the dead. That same power is at work in you, equipping you, strengthening you, and empowering you to live a life that brings glory to God. It's a power that equips you to face every challenge, to rise above every trial, to stand firm in the face of opposition. When you encounter God's power, you no longer see obstacles as barriers. You see them as opportunities for His power to be revealed in your life. It's easy to feel like you're too far gone, that your mistakes are too big, your failures too many, or your sin too deep. But the power of God is bigger than anything you could ever face. It reaches further than the deepest pit you've ever found yourself in. No matter how far you've fallen, His power is able to pull you out. There's no darkness that is too dark for God's light to penetrate. There's no situation so hopeless that God can't bring restoration. His power is the power of resurrection, the power to bring life out of death, to restore what was broken, to heal what was wounded, to make whole what was fractured. The transformation that happens when you encounter God's power is not just a one-time event. It's an ongoing journey. As you continue to walk in His power, you'll find yourself being shaped, molded, and refined by His hand. You'll find your desires changing, your heart aligning more and more with His. You'll find yourself growing in courage, faith, and strength. The old habits that once defined you will start to lose their hold, and you'll begin to reflect the very nature of the God who has called you His own. There is a life that God has for you, an abundant life, a life of purpose, peace, and joy. But that life is only fully realized when you encounter His power. It's only when His power transforms you from the inside out that you can walk in the fullness of everything He has for you. The things that once seemed impossible become possible. The dreams that once felt out of reach begin to feel attainable. You begin to see the world through new eyes, eyes that see beyond the surface and into the heart of God's plan for you. But this transformation requires a willingness to let go of the old and embrace the new. It requires surrendering your plans, your fears, your doubts, and your control over your life. You must be willing to allow God to do what only He can do. And when you do, you will find that His plans for you are greater than anything you could have imagined on your own. His power will take you places you never thought possible, and you will experience a life that is beyond your wildest dreams. The beauty of God's power is that it is not just for a select few, it's for anyone who is willing to receive it. It's for those who are tired of living in their own strength, those who are ready for a change, those who are willing to say, I can't do it on my own, but I know that with God, all things are possible. I want to encourage you today, if you haven't already, seek that encounter with God's power. Open your heart and invite Him in. Ask for His transformative power to come into your life. You don't have to stay where you are. You don't have to live in the shadow of your past. You don't have to continue in defeat. God is calling you to step into the fullness of who He has created you to be. And when you do, when you experience His power in all its fullness, your life will never be the same again. As you stand at the threshold of this transformation, know this: the power of God is not just a fleeting moment. It's a constant, unshakable force that can redefine your life. You are not defined by your past, your mistakes, or the limitations you've carried. You are defined by the God who created you, who calls you His own, and who has a purpose for you that goes beyond anything you've ever imagined. When you encounter God's power, everything changes. It changes your perspective, your strength, and your destiny. The chains of your past are broken, the burdens of fear and doubt are lifted, and you are set on a path of purpose and freedom. There is no situation too hopeless, no journey too far, that God's power cannot reach, redeem, and restore. So, let this be your declaration today: I will not settle for anything less than the transformation that God has promised me. I will not live in the shadows of what I was, but I will walk boldly in the light of what I am becoming. The power of God is at work in me, and I will rise, I will overcome, and I will walk in the fullness of His calling. The life God has for me is more than I could ask or imagine, and I choose to embrace it with everything I have. Step forward into that power today. The encounter you've been waiting for is here.